Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, we are from fifth group. There are Gandes, Tantia, and I, Siti. Our subject is Pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of invisible meaning, or how we recognize what is meant even when it isn't actually said or written. For the example, in this picture, assuming things are normal, and the store has not gone into the business of selling young children, we can recognize an advertisement for a sale of clothes for those babies and toddlers. The next is context. If the word bank is used in a sentence together with words like steep or overgrown, we have no problem deciding which type of bank is meant. Or if we hear someone say that she has to get to the bank to withdraw some cash, we know from this linguistic context which type of bank is intended. More generally, we know how to interpret words on the basis of physical context. If we see the word bank on the wall of a building in a city, the physical location will influence our interpretation. While this may seem rather obvious, we should keep in mind that it is not the actual physical situation out there that constitutes the context. That constitutes the context for interpreting words or sentences. The next is deixis. All these deixic expressions have to be interpreted in terms of which person, place, or time the speaker has in mind. We make a broad distinction between what is marked as close to the speaker, like this, here, now, and what is distant, like that, there, and then. We can also indicate whether movement is away from the speaker's location. For example, go, or toward the speaker's location, be, come. If you are looking for someone and she appears moving toward you, you can say, here she comes. If, however, she is moving away from you in the distance, you are more likely to say, there she goes. The same tactic effect explains the different situations in which you would tell someone to go to bed versus come to bed. People can actually use deixis to have some fun. The bar owner who puts up a big sign that reads free beer tomorrow, actually to get you to return to the bar, can always claim that you are just one day too early or the free drink. The next can be explained by my friends.
Okay, I will explain the reference, inference, and anaphor. Reference is an act by which a speaker or writer uses language to enable the listener or reader to identify something. To perform an act of reference, we can use proper nouns, other nouns in praise, or pronouns. We can also refer things when we're not sure what call them. And we can use expressions such as the blue thing that it is tough, and we can even infinims. For example, there was a man who always drove his motorcycle fast and loud. My neighborhood and locally referred to his Mr. Kawasaki. In this case, a brand name for a motorcycle is being used to refer to a person. Next is inference. Inference is additional information used to the listener to create a connection between what is said and what must be meant. For example, in the restaurant, one waiter can ask another, where the spinach salad sitting, and receive the reply, he's sitting by the door. If you're studying linguistics, you might ask someone, can I look at your Chomsky? And get the response, sure, it's on the shelf over there. This example makes it clear that we can use name associated with things to refer to people, and use name of people, Chomsky, to refer to things. The key process here is called inference. Next is anaphor. Anaphor can be defined as subsequent reference to an already introduced entity. Mostly we use anaphor in text to maintain reference. For example, we found a house to rent, but the kitchen was very small. I called a bus and asked the driver if it went near the downtown area. In the first example, we must make an inference like if X is a house, then X has a kitchen. In order to interpret the connection between antecedent and house, and anaphoric expression the kitchen. In the second example, we must make an inference like if X is a bus, then X has a driver. In order to make the connection between a bus and the driver, we have used the term inference here to describe what the listener or reader does. When we talk about an assumption made by the speaker, we usually talk about a presupposition.
Okay, the next material is speech act and politeness. Look at this couple before. Did you cook the noodle? Interrogative question. Cook the noodle, please. Imperative command and request. You ate the noodle. Declarative statement. You ate the noodle. Declarative statement. Speech act include direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech is sentence that's spoken directly by the speaker. Example, did you drink a coffee? We usually produce a direct speech when we don't know something and we ask someone to provide the information. An indirect speech is sentence that's spoken by speaker to report to others. Example, he drank a coffee. We usually produce indirect speech when we report that happened with others. And look at this couple again. Can you open the door? Can you open the door? This example, we are not really asking a question about someone's ability. In fact, we don't normally use this structure as a question at all. We normally use it to make a request. that we are using a syntactic structure associated with a question, but in this case with the function of the request. This is example of an indirect speech. Once again, can you open the door? Not example of direct speech, but in this example of indirect speech. And the next, politeness, can be defined as showing awareness and consideration of another person's face. If you say something that represents a threat to another person's self-image, that is called a face-threatening act. Politeness includes negative and positive ways. Negative ways is need to be dependent and free from imposition. A face-shaving act that emphasizes a person's negative ways will show concern about imposition. Example, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you are busy, but... And positive ways is to need to be connected, to belong, to be a member of the group. A face-shaving act that emphasizes a person's positive ways will show solidarity and draw attention to common goal. Example, let's do this together. You and I have the same problem, so I think that is a presentation from our group. Thanks for your attention. Any question?